Hi, my name is Robert Hill. I used to have a YouTube channel, but I screwed up because it went here and there and it wasn't all on topic. And so I am doing a new YouTube channel. My name is Robert, but I go by Bob. So this is Jokes by Bob Hill. So I hope you enjoy, and I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my channel. And if you hit that little bell, then you will have notifications when I publish a new video. Also, if you want to share them with other people, go ahead and share them, and also tell them to other people. Make them laugh. After all, laughter is good medicine. If you have heard some of my jokes in the past and you like a particular joke, put it in the comments and I will move it to the top of the list. As far as I know, all of the jokes that I tell are in the public domain. That means that there's no copyright on them. But if you do find something that has a copyright on it, please tell me so that I can remove it or get permission to keep it on my channel. With that, we will get started. These two Amish ladies, they were out digging potatoes in the garden. And the one Amish lady dug up these two potatoes about the same size, fairly big, and she said to the other Amish lady, "You know what? These resemble my husband Jedediah's ears." And she said, "Jedediah really has that big of ears?" She says, "No, but they are this dirty." "Where does the Lone Ranger take his trash?" "To the dump, to the dump, to the dump, dump, dump. To the dump, to the dump, to the dump, dump, dump." This one guy, he was 47, and he's a little vain, like all of us are at certain points in time. However, he was really vain. So he went to the plastic surgeon and he says, "Hey, Doc, I want to look good again." So the doc explained what he would do and how it would turn out and how much it would cost. And so the guy says, "Yeah, I want to go ahead and do that." And he paid the plastic surgeon $5,000, and he went with the procedure. And he got done and he looked in the mirror and he says, "Wow, I look great." And so on the way home, he stopped in on the newsstand and he bought a newspaper, and he asked the cashier, "How old do you think I am?" And the cashier says, I think you're around 30. And the guy said proudly, "I am 47 years old." And the guy says, "Wow, you don't look a day over 30. And he went over to McDonald's and got a sandwich so he could have lunch. He got a McDonald's meal, and when he paid the cashier, he said, "How old do you think I am?" And the lady looked at him and he says, "I'm thinking you're 27 years old." And the guy says to the whole crowd in McDonald's, says, "I am 47 years old." And he left and he went and sat at the bus stop and he ate his meal, his McDonald's meal. And then this old lady came down and sat down to wait for the bus also. And he says he wanted a little more self-gratification, and so he says, "How old do you think I am?" And the lady says, "Sir, I am 80 years old. My eyesight is not very good anymore, but I have a surefire way of telling you how old you are. That is, if you kiss me for 10 minutes, I will be able to tell you exactly how old you are." And the guy looked around, nobody around. He said, "Okay." And he started kissing her, and they smooched for 10 minutes. And he asked her, "So, do you think you can tell me how old I am? And he says, yes, sir. I can tell you exactly how old you are. You are 47 years old. And the guy was a little astonished, and he says to her, how are you able to do that? And she says, I was behind you at McDonald's, in the line at McDonald's. And he kind of got a little embarrassed there. This guy was afflicted with kleptomania. Sometimes he just had to take something. You know your boss wants 100%. So I have a solution for you. On Mondays, you give him 12%. Tuesdays, 23%. On Wednesdays, a whole 40%. On Thursdays, 20%. And on Fridays, 5%. I think that might be a norm anymore. As the first graders were getting acclimated to be in first grade rather than in kindergarten, the first grade teacher said, in first grade, we use adult talk, and so when you use baby talk, you will be corrected. And so she kind of explained what baby talk was and what adult talk was. After the first week, when the next Monday rolled around, she asked the students, think about what you did during the weekend. I want you to share it with the class. Betty, what did you do this weekend? She says, I went to Nana's house. No, Betty, you went to Grandma's house. Remember, we're using adult talk here. She says, yes, I remember. Henry, what did you do this weekend? I rode a choo-choo. No, Henry, you rode a train. Not a choo-choo, a train. Remember, we're using adult talk. Okay, teacher. Johnny, what did you do this weekend? He said, I read a book. And what was the name of the book? And he had to think a second because he didn't want to use baby talk. And he says, Winnie the Crapper. What did the Pink Panther say when he stepped on the ant? Dead ant, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant. This old couple, the husband just lost his wife, and they had the funeral at the church house. And the funeral went well, and everybody was grieving, and so they were taking the casket out to the hearse. And on the way, the pallbearers bumped into the wall really hard, jarred the casket bad, and they heard a moan in the casket. So they opened the casket, and the lady sat up. Oh, surprised everybody. It shocked everyone. Well, 10 years later, the lady dies, and they have the funeral. And as they leave with the casket, the husband says, watch out for that wall. Another elderly couple. We got to move on to animals next time or something. This elderly couple, they were having trouble remembering. It sounds like me sometimes. So they went to the doctor. They said, Doc, we're having trouble remembering. Is there something you can do for us? So he gave them an exam, and he says, physically you're doing fine, but I'll tell you what, here's a couple of notebooks. Each of you take a notebook and a pen, and when you have a thought or idea, you write it down. And then you look down at your notebook every so often so you can remember. That night they were watching TV. The husband got up, and she says, where are you going? Oh, I'm going into the kitchen. And she says, while you're there, would you get me some ice cream? Yes. Oh, and write it down so you don't forget. And he said, oh, I will remember. And he started walking. Oh, and put some strawberries on it and write it down. Oh, I can remember that. Ice cream with strawberries on the top. Oh, and I want some nuts with the, write it down. I can remember ice cream, strawberry, and nuts. Oh, and whipped cream. And write it down. Oh, I'll remember. And he walked off. Well, about 20 minutes later, he brought a plate in and handed it to her. It had some bacon and eggs on it. She looked down at it and says, you forgot the toast. One last thing, I'm going to give a riddle, and I want you to give your answer, a simple answer, one name answer is fine. Simple answer as you can on the riddles I give, and I will answer, I will confirm it in your text or on the next video, or confirm it in your comments, so I need to write you back, or in the next video. Here we go. You are a new bus driver. The first stop, you picked up 5 people. The next stop, you picked up 7 people. That's a 7 in Chinese sign language. And 2 people got off. The next stop, you picked up 3 people and 5 got off. The next stop, 4 people got off. What is the name of the bus driver? I will see you on the next video.